you're alone, the day is over, and your brain does it again. You replay a moment from earlier, not the big things, the tiny ones, the message you sent, the tone you used, the second you walked past someone without smiling, and your mind whispers, maybe I should have said sorry. So you do. You apologize for taking space, for asking a question, for talking too much, for texting twice, for existing a little too loudly. If you say sorry too much, it's not because you're weak, and it's not because you're dramatic. It's because your brain learned something early. Being safe means being harmless. Over-apologizing isn't just manners, it's a survival strategy, a way to reduce tension, a way to prevent rejection, a way to control how people see you, because somewhere in your life, sorry started working. Maybe you grew up in a home where moods changed fast, where one wrong word could turn into a problem. So you learned to soften everything. You became the peacemaker, the easy one, the one who doesn't cause trouble. Or maybe you weren't allowed to make mistakes, so you started apologizing before anyone could accuse you. You learned to say sorry first, so you could stay loved. Here's the trap. Your brain starts treating normal human behavior like a threat. If you disagree, you apologize. If you need help, you apologize. If you set a boundary, you apologize. Because your nervous system connects one idea to another. Boundary, anger, conflict, rejection, and danger. So you use sorry like emotional insurance. You're not just saying, I'm sorry. You're really saying, please don't be mad. Please don't leave. Please don't think I'm a bad person. And that's why over-apologizing feels urgent. Because inside your body, it doesn't feel like communication. It feels like damage control. Now let's talk about the part nobody says out loud. Over-apologizing can look polite, but it can also quietly drain your self-respect. Because every extra sorry is a small message you send to yourself. My needs are too much. My presence is inconvenient. I'm the problem. And even if other people don't think that, your brain starts to believe it. This is why chronic apologizers often feel guilty, even when they've done nothing wrong. They feel guilty for taking time, taking attention, taking space, needing reassurance, being human. Because guilt becomes their default setting. And the worst part? People who over-apologize usually aren't selfish people. They're the opposite. They're considerate, empathetic, self-aware. They care so much about others, they forget they're allowed to exist without apologizing for it. So how do you break the pattern? You don't break it by forcing confidence overnight. You break it by catching the fear behind the apology. Next time you're about to say, sorry, pause for 1 second and ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I don't apologize? You might notice things like, I'm afraid they'll think I'm rude. I'm afraid they'll stop liking me. I'm afraid they'll get angry. I'm afraid I'll be rejected. That fear is the real driver, not politeness. Once you see the fear, you can choose a new response. Instead of sorry, try, thanks for waiting. Appreciate your patience. Let me rephrase that. I didn't mean it that way. That's on me. I'll fix it. Only when it's actually true. Because not every moment needs an apology. Sometimes it just needs clarity. And sometimes it needs nothing at all. Here's a powerful reframe. An apology is for when you've harmed someone, not for when you've had a need, not for when you've taken a breath, not for when you've existed. If you over-apologize, you're not broken, you're trained. Your brain learned that safety comes from shrinking. But you don't have to shrink to be loved. You can be kind without being small. And the next time your mouth reaches for sorry, let it reach for something else. Respect, calm, truth. Because you were never the problem. You were just trying to stay safe.